I the meanest? Sure enough. Am I the prettiest? Sure enough. Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town? Sure enough. Well, who am I? Sure enough. Who am I? Sure enough. I can't hear you. Sure enough. Sure enough. Sugar. Sugar.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Happy Monday morning. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the AM show. We are in effect. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it is J-Pad, LB, Mello PDC. Yeah, man. Yeah, show enough is definitely our theme. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. The AM show is in effect. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are sharing. We are on live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. YouTube, Facebook today. You know what I'm saying? We just finding our core audience and rocking with what we know is rocking with us. Thank you guys who all have been tuning in to the AM show. Once again, it's the trifecta, you betcha, the three kings of the AM. You know what I'm saying? J-Pad, LB, Mellow PDC, the Abbott is in the building. You know what I'm saying? And we got some things to unpack today, but you know, as I always do, I try to check in with the fellas, see how the weekend's been popping. How was the weekend going? John checking in early. What's going on, John? You know what I'm saying? You old slick alley cat, you just showed up real early this morning, didn't you?
Slick alley cat.
Slick old alley cat.
We
But
gotta get on the badge.
we're gonna get John a badge. Yeah, we're gonna put a nice little badge right on his forehead. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
Yeah, man. How was your weekend though, fellas? LB, what's going on, man? How was the weekend, man? How was business over the weekend? I know you had the store open.
Yeah, pretty good. I ain't no complaints. You know, it's all a process in the makings and everything. I'm not no complaints, but yeah, my weekend was pretty good. Relaxed. Got a lot of stuff done. Did a lot of research and stuff. So yeah, basically a normal day for me. So
Right, typical day. This is what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? John said,
mm-hmm.
"Don't play."
So we're gonna turn
Gonna
live.
lick them, stick them right on top.
Lick them and stick them is crazy.
We have a whole show about John Minor.
No doubt. That's my brother checking in every single time. You know what I'm saying?
Already right there.
You know what I'm saying? Mellow Man, tap in. Houston, the Houston Chronicles is in effect. Let's go.
H-Town, I'm talking about. We had a real laid back, chill weekend. I didn't do too much of anything, bro. Getting ready for my last 4 classes. Get this degree in June. Just finished up on QuickBooks with a 90%.
Oh man,
good stuff, bro. Good shit.
I got to chill and relax this weekend.
Oh man, that's great, man. And the degree, once again, for those who ain't, who ain't familiar with what degree you are pursuing, man. You know what I'm saying? Let the, Dismos checking in. DR, man, that's early, man. That's real early.
Yeah.
They're an hour ahead of us, in the Dominican Republic. So, we appreciate everybody tapping in. But yeah, what's the degree in, brother?
Yeah, thanks guys for checking in. Share every time you get a chance. When you see us, share. That's what we need. And comment. You know what I mean? Don't just stare at the podcast, hop in, get involved. But yeah, it's a business administration degree. And it's a blessing. You know what I mean? Everything that's involved from business law, QuickBooks, what I just mentioned. I'm proficient in Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. So it's really, if you're a business person, it's exactly what the doctor ordered. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that is super dope, man. Big kudos to Mellow PDC for doing the damn thing and setting the bar once again and adding another sheepskin to the mantle. You feel what I'm saying? Gotta give a big shout out to my boy Loic Wapter, you know what I'm saying, in Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe is checking in this morning. You know what I'm saying? For those who don't know, Guadeloupe is a French speaking country in the Caribbeans. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that's my brother, Loic Wapter. Big fist this morning. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out. For those who ain't never heard Stack, that's a song that me and Loic is on right now. We got a song called Stack. We got a couple of jams that we've worked on. I produced a couple of tracks for him. Steelers Nation is checking in this morning. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the chat, man, our think tank is here with us. You know what I'm saying? So, the guys is in. The ladies are coming in too. We're gonna give y'all a shout out as soon as we see y'all jump up on the chat, and we're gonna have a nice interactive chat today. We got a lot to unpack. You know what I'm saying? But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get into this particular story. George Foreman, the legendary boxer, you know what I'm saying, an entrepreneur. He died at the age of 76. You know what I'm saying? That was Friday. It was Friday. So going into our weekend, we had to give our flowers to the great George Foreman. George Foreman, the former heavyweight boxing champion turned business entrepreneur who was part of some of sports' most memorable matches and moments, died Friday at the age of 76. The family definitely said he was a devout preacher, a devoted husband, a loving father, and a proud grand and great grandfather. He lived a life marked by unwavering faith, humility, and purpose. And for those who don't know his story, you know what I'm saying? George Foreman had a great boxing career in the 70s, and he was a menace to all in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? He ended up losing to Muhammad Ali, and his life went through a little spiral, and then he found God and he turned his life around, became a preacher, and then in the 40s of in his 40s, he made a comeback in boxing and ended up winning the world heavyweight title again. So, you know what I'm saying? He was born in Marshall, Texas, grew up in Houston's Fifth Ward, down there where Podge at. You know what I'm saying? If y'all looking at this photo, y'all remember him very well from this particular fight. You know what I'm saying? Um, George Foreman was the challenger in this. Joe Frazier was the champion, and this was in Kingston, Jamaica, in 1973. I was 1 years old at the time when this boxing match went down. Um, Foreman, he won by TKO. He definitely was put in the hands of stone on Joe Frazier. Rest in peace, Joe Frazier, too, another great legend in boxing, the Philly mastermind. Joe Frazier. You know what I'm saying? But Muhammad Ali, as you can see, put the brakes, beat the brakes off of George Foreman at the end of their rumble in the jungle. And this was in Zaire of 1974. 1 year later, just Ali found the way to deliver this right hand right here and floored George Foreman and finished him off. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. Loic Stack with us. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yes, rest in peace to Big George. Quick thoughts, fellas, on the great George Foreman.
Yeah, well, down here, we call it the bloody nickel. Yeah, I mean, Fifth Ward. Uh, it's a it's a rough upbringing. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate athletes from all walks of life that recreate themselves. And that George Foreman grill, you know, he
Man,
died with a nice legacy, about $300 million. Sometimes we just gotta get to it and stick to it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, a lot of people don't remember that he named all of his sons George Foreman as well. And he jokingly was talking about it. He said, if you're going to get hit by the likes of Ken Norton, Ali, you know, it's hard to remember names. So we named all of his kids George Foreman. So shout out to the champion that he was. You know, we're going to miss him.
Absolutely. LB.
Yeah, shout out to the legend, man. He was the best that I've known. He was one of the hardest hitters I ever seen.
No
He
doubt.
was
He was the
heaviest.
epitome. Yeah, he was the epitome of what you call getting hit hard, because there's too many video clips of George Foreman wailing, not just hitting, wailing on people. You know what I'm saying?
You can see the pre-workouts, the way he punched the bag in the pre-workouts, where he just hitting the bag. You watch the dents and holes in the bag when he get done. That dude, he was merciless. Yeah.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. Just a shout out to the chat. If you're inboxing me on Facebook, try not to while we on the show, because it'll pop up in our little rundown. You know what I'm saying? If you got something that you want to send us, send it to us before the show, and I will put it on. I seen John just sent something. I would like to run it because dude funny as hell, but we're gonna wait till Wednesday, John, and we're gonna run that clip. That clip is hilarious. But we got something funny for y'all this morning, for sure. But thank you, bro. Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. We're gonna definitely run that on Wednesday. Thank you, guys. But if you guys got anything, you know, that you guys might want us to talk about, just send it to my inbox or send it to one of our inboxes, and we'll try to unpack it for you. You know what I'm saying? And give y'all the righteous spill on it. We're gonna keep moving on the timeline this morning. We got a lot to unpack, so we're gonna go right here. This just happened over the weekend. Well, actually, this report just came down 4 hours ago. Canada's prime minister calls an election. They called an emergency election. Says Trump wants to break us. In the caption here, it says new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Is that Carney? Yes, Carney on March 23rd called a snap election for April 28th, saying he needed a strong mandate to deal with the threat posed by U.S. President Donald Trump, who wants to break us so America can own us. Let's have a listen. There's a couple of minutes here in this quick little video. Let's go ahead.
New Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on Sunday called a snap election for April 28th, saying he needed a strong mandate to deal with the threat posed by U.S. President Donald Trump.
We are facing the most significant crisis of our lifetimes because of President Trump's unjustified trade actions and his threats to our sovereignty.
The comments are a sign of how relations between the two longtime allies and major trading partners have deteriorated. Trump has imposed tariffs on Canadian goods and threatened to annex it as its 51st state.
He wants to break us so America can own us. We will not let that happen. We're over the shock of the betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons.
The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Carney's remarks. Carney, who was sworn in on March 14th, captured the Liberal leadership by persuading party members he was the best person to tackle Trump. The next election was not due until October, but Carney is hoping to capitalize on his party's remarkable recovery in the polls since January. It follows former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's resignation as well as Trump's threats. Earlier this month, Trump delayed a broad 25% tariff on some Canadian goods for 30 days. He has since imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum imports and threatened reciprocal tariffs on additional goods, including Canadian dairy and lumber, starting April 2nd. Canadians are rallying for their country and seeing a resurgence in nationalism.
And when we are attacked, we stand together.
On Saturday, residents gathered in Toronto to denounce U.S. tariffs. Canada-U.S. relations top the list of preoccupying residents, according to recent polls. Carney, a former two-time central banker with no previous political or election campaign experience, now has 5 weeks to win over Canadians. On Sunday, Carney proposed cutting the lowest income tax bracket by 1 percentage point. Polls suggest liberals, who have been in power since 2015, have slightly pulled ahead of the official opposition conservatives, who had led earlier in the year. The conservatives have sought to portray Carney as an elitist, who plans to continue the Trudeau-era policy of high government spending.
Today is actually a really exciting day because we got...
Okay. We got the 411 on that. Fellas, give me a little insight on what you think after watching that report right there. They're calling for an emergency election because of all this stuff that's going on between the relations of which always have been good between Canada and the US, but now it seems like it's on the verge of breaking down, and Trump actually suggesting that they become another extension of the U.S. You know what I'm saying? It's not sitting well with Canadians. What do we got here, fellas? Talk to me.
Well, I think, in my opinion, I think this is stage one of his plan. The divide and conquer. Because he's trying to divide all the nations with these tariffs, and they're going to just tax us so much to where we're not going to be able to afford to do anything outside the U.S., and the U.S. is not producing nothing that we need. So it's going to present a big problem. And to me, I think this is phase one of a whole bunch of phases that's about to happen pretty soon with this Trump in office.
Melanie checking in. Good morning, Melanie. I told you the ladies was getting ready to show up, and here she is. Melanie Tolbert. Good morning. Grand rising to you as well. Mellow man, you know what I'm saying? I know you got the speak to us like we need to hear it. Oh, turn your mic on, P.
This moving.
This No, this is exactly what we've been talking about the last few shows, and it's starting to unfold right in front of us. The same stuff we've been talking about. And shout out to everyone in the chat. Share. Every time you get a chance, share.
Every time.
Yeah, it gives us a lot of, traction. So yeah, for him to just be in office just like a month or so, and then an emergency election, it lets you know, like, man, it's going down. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to do better business with our bordering countries. You know what I'm saying? These are our bordering countries. We share a border, Canada, Mexico, and they're both offended by these tariffs, especially Mexico saying, how dare them do this to us? We barely charge them for anything that's coming over from Mexico. So Canada and the new prime minister, he comes from his background isn't politics. His background is from the president of banks. You know what I'm saying? So you should have him, in your corner, like, trying to figure out, like, all right, I'm not going to charge so much for you. I mean, we got beer, liquor, metal products coming from Canada, way more than we have over here. So simple math is telling you that these aren't the people you want to mess with. Honestly.
No, that's a good point, P. Steelers Nation chimed in. He said he don't have the power or right to annex another nation. They are doing right to protect themselves against his fuckery and buffoonery. Co-signed. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna definitely co-sign that. You know what I'm saying? And is that Frog? B Nicole, good morning. She said, is that Frog? Who is Frog? Are you talking about Donald Trump? I don't know who you talking about. You gotta be clear on this morning. You know what I'm saying?
Elaborate.
Yes, elaborate. Who is Frog?
Who's the Frog?
Yes, where you at? I'm like, who? But no, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Chiming in. I appreciate y'all tapping in this morning. We got a good discussion. I'm right there with you guys. I think this is a lot of thank you for sharing, Melanie. Thank you. We need everybody to share, subscribe, whatever you need to do. We're on Facebook and YouTube at the moment in time. And once again, yo, this is just another prime example, which leads into our next story about Trump's policies. Um, Says he signs an executive order to decrease federal spending, 4 ways that can impact your wallet. And I felt like this was important to bring to the people, fellas. Let's go ahead and unpack the 4 ways real quick. Number one, they said rumor costs. It says federal agencies just don't just regulate industries; they help them function. He's saying layoffs at federal agencies like the Food and Drug Administration, for example, could also slow down drug and medical device approvals, causing supply chain delays that may drive up health care costs. Also, the job cuts hurt the economy. Unemployed government workers um, Unemployed government workers face severance payment delays, which increases their financial hardship. There's excessive financial instability for the people both laid off and for those who are still working for the federal government. People are uncertain whether they will have a job when they wake up in the morning. It is the uncertainty that makes things worse than they need to be. In addition, a further economic risk is created because it may take time for laid off government workers to get a new job before their severance runs out. So that's a problem. Shrinking safety net. Over 99 million Americans receive some form of government assistance. Federal spending cuts could affect benefits for everyone, including those who receive Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and unemployment assistance. You know, and that's going to definitely affect that side of the fence. Um, Borrowing costs might rise. Says poorly planned spending cuts could increase market instability, making borrowing more expensive and leading to higher interest rates on mortgages, credit cards, and personal loans. Uh, it's been said the erratic nature of the Department of Government Efficiency, which is a new department that we know of, DOGE, actions doesn't distinguish between cutting inefficiencies and identifying areas in need of reform. The firing and rehiring of federal employees creates financial uncertainty. All right, and fellas, you know what I'm saying? We all know that these are impacting things, um you know, and it's making things really tough. B Nicole said, leave it to me to ask the off the wall question. Nothing to see here, carry on. Okay, just throwing a little humor in there. Hey, we love it. We love it all, humor, all that, keep it coming. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I think that those 4 points right there are really driving the point home. And I wanted to bring that up because that's an article that might slip past, people's view. And that's why I said we keep digging and we keep finding different things to show you why things are about to be the way that they are. So, L, what you think, man?
We head into a recession.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's just it's indicating on everything that's going on. We talked about this for months now, but it's just showing clear that this is where it's going. There's no way you can go
Absolutely.
around it. Because basically everybody's struggling now, and things is about to get worse. So what else can you say is going to happen?
Absolutely, man. P.
Yeah, absolutely agree. The recession had already started before the new administration came in, but they're just accelerating it, making it come a lot faster. We had issues like defunding the police, before he came in, and it was a big issue. And understandably, there's certain things you can go in any neighborhood and you see police officers that are just on the clock, just sitting there on the clock, and those are issues that we needed to resolve. But the government cuts that they're making, it's unbalanced.
Yeah.
It does more damage to the people that need to be serviced than it does for saving money for our country. So yeah, we got to balance it a little better. Maybe need to teach Trump QuickBooks or something.
Yeah, you think that might help him out a little bit, Pete? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The got to regress him down. You know what I'm saying? And humble him down, and you know how it is with the destroy and the rebuild. You know what I'm saying? John said, "What's wrong? LB closet assembly line must be on strike." He swears up and down. There's some little gnomes in the back of LB in that closet right there. It's that door, man. It's something about that door that John's keep being fixated on. He think there's a little manufacturing plant back there. He said lacking. Hey, yo, hilarious, too funny. No, well said, P. I think that's the microcosm of the macrocosm that's about to take place. Everybody has to stay aware, stay in the know, stay in the light, be very, very aware of what's really going on, and start seeking get alternative information. Don't just get the information that's coming from CNN. Don't just get the information that's coming from these major news channels. I'm picking up um, things that we're showing y'all from reports that are not from those major networks. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really dig beneath the surface because people are digging and they're finding things, and we have to stay in the light with it. John said he knows it's true. No, I think you know it's true. I think it's something that's in your brain right now that's just, you know, there's little munchkins dancing around in your head or something like that this morning, man. I don't know. I don't know what's really going on. He thinks there's a manufacturing plant where L got all these little people in the back in that door back behind him. You know what I'm saying? Producing what he needs on a morning basis. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on, Jay. Brother John, I don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you might as well go ahead.
Motherfucker, ain't it?
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and hit it again, and then just sit back and yes, right. Don't get your news from social media. You're absolutely right, John. You know, it's very important to dig past the surface and really start getting into information that you can actually find yourself so you know what's really going on, because everything, trust me, I used to work in media. I used to work for NBC. And I can safely say this, that in order to gain ratings, sometimes the news channels will stretch the truth. They will not tell you something. That I actually remember one time when I was at the NBC affiliate here in Pittsburgh, they actually had to get on the air and apologize for misinforming the public. You know what I'm saying? And it was a clear-cut discrepancy, and it was not a good look. It was not a good look, and it does scream one thing: ratings are king when it comes to people tuning in and watching even news, especially news. Advertising is what makes TV stations run. If you don't know that, it's all centered around the advertising that comes along with it. So keep yourself in the know, you know what I'm saying, and get yourself really in another space of what we're doing and uncovering here on the AM show. And hold on one second, guys. You know, you guys got any other points on that? You know what I'm saying? Because I think that that's really important for the people to understand. Anybody got anything else to say about it? Anything got any? I guess not. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next subject. P brought this. Yeah, huh?
Something to download.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna get into the next subject. P brought this up over the weekend, and we're gonna unpack this. It says TikToker explains beef between Dallas rappers Yella Beezy and Mo 3. Let's have a listen and see what we got here, and then we're going to talk about this subject. This is hip hop news, so we're going to go back in and see exactly what's going on.
Y'all been knew the situation between Yella Beezy and Mo 3. Mo 3 got on a track and bragged about shooting Yella Beezy. multiple times. Bragged about killing Trap Boy Freddie Homeboys multiple times. So I understand his mom and friends want justice for him, but let's call a spade a spade. These was two street niggas beefing, amen. It all started when Yella Beezy got Roy Lee knocked off. Now why he did that, I don't know. Dude was a whole comedian, but allegedly Yella Beezy had enough of this man and got him killed. Mo 3 was not having that shit because that was one of his best friends, one of his only friends in the music industry, one of his only friends in the city. So what did Mo 3 do? Catch Yella Beezy at a strip club, chase him through every light imaginable, and shot the fuck out him on the highway. Yella Beezy, being way smarter than Mo 3, came back and got Mo 3 friend killed named Lil Bubba. The murder of Lil Bubba was publicized and shown all on TV because it was mafia style, so they knew then hits was being ordered in Dallas. After that, that put Mo 3 back against the wall, and he had to show that he was out here guerrilla status. So he started stepping on shit, robbing shit, shooting shit, bragging about it. 3 was a whole villain. Trap Boy and Yella Beezy could not take it, so as a result, they commenced murder. Allegedly, they commenced it. So we saying long live 3, and that's on me. But the truth of the matter is we have 2 young black superstars who was very successful, had children, supported their family and friends. They were great black men for the community, but they chose violence and threw it all away. This is Dallas County. I do not understand why Yella Beezy or Mo 3 thought they could get away with this shit, but they about to learn real fast, because Mo 3 gonna get charged from the grave for all that bragging on them bodies he was doing. Y'all gonna see he wasn't no good guy.
Man.
Wow.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. That was whew. Man, that was something else right there. P, man, break it down. You in Texas, you know, like, so this.
Oh yeah, 45 North, right up the gut. You know, a couple miles, couple hundred miles away from us. You know, I play Yella Beezy on LFX Media. You know, on a radio station. Play some O3 too as well. I mean, looking in the comments, John said, "Not rappers fighting, laugh out loud, unheard of." Let's go back to King Von, Little Dirk. Now, these were and I'm not saying this is the beginning of the travesty, because rappers have been dying since they've been coming out. You know what I'm saying? Rappers been getting cased up. We can go all the way back to Just Ice, one of the
Oh
original
yeah.
gangsters of rap. He had a whole body that he had to fight while he was putting out some of the first
Oh
records. You
man.
know,
I remember that.
so yeah, this isn't the beginning, but the drill turning into real. That's what I call it. The drill turning into real right there, where King Von, Little Dirk, all these situations. And a lot of people were like, oh man, Von was just about to do this, that, and the other. But when you listen to a lot of the people who were right there, talked about some of the demonic things that he did, and some of the, you know, he didn't care for life, so his was taken in that same type of way. So going back to there, you know, King Von, Little Dirk situation, even the West Coast thing that's going on with Big U. Like, I got to use one of the most famous phrases of all time. Can't we all get along? I mean, once we get to that level, you know, where we don't have to depend on street life, and you know, we got a professional, we got records in circulation, and we got to think, especially hiring somebody to do your murder. Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, that's the
My
worst.
goodness,
You know
my
what I mean?
goodness, man. P, thank you, man.
Yeah.
That's just so timely, man. It's crazy business. It's crazy business. L, what you think, brother?
Man, I think it's just real street niggas trying to be rappers and shit, and they get caught up in that life. They still on the streets and shit, so they
Exactly.
they're mixing business and pleasure and shit. So and you know the two don't mix. So eventually something bad happens. And I
Yeah,
think
you can't once you sign up for this side of it. I'm in the music business. You sign up for this side of it. Real quick in the chat. Melody said another senseless death. Mar, what's going on? Simply checking in this morning. You know what I mean? Like, subscribe, share. It's the AM show. Y'all know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Steelers Nation, once again with another take. The man spoke the truth about the situation. It's sad that bodies are hitting the floor because of a beef between two misguided individuals. And the key word in that phrase is misguided. Like, there are a lot of us that are in this, that are in it for the sensationalism of it, and the selfishness of it, and the glorification of it, instead of seeing the end game. Like, what can we do for the community with this blessing that we have? What can we do positively to impact the community, to get us out of those situations where we are not at odds with each other? Because as you can see from our timeline, there's a lot of things that we're facing as a nation, as let alone a people. You know what I'm saying? Let alone a people. We got a lot of issues that we have in the Black community, and I'm going to call it, and we've been calling it now since we've been on the air. We got a lot of fixing to do with us. We got a lot of fixing to do with us, and it's really, really important that we get back into some form of positivity. If we don't get into it, it's going to keep happening over, and we keep hearing the cycle of it keep going back, and it keeps recycling itself. And seriously, y'all, like, it's about time that y'all put the guns down. It's time that you put differences off to the side, and let's find ways to build up instead of breaking each other down. This is a prime example of that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it too many times. In my 30 years of working in the music business, I can safely say this, that I've seen more death, more people getting locked up in all of this, you know what I'm saying, than a little bit. And it's based off of, the music business and just our strain of the music business. You know what I mean? It's really, really unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? TK, Trap Kingdom, you know what I'm saying? Great session yesterday. Be on the lookout for her music. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out. Welcome to the AM show once again. Like, subscribe, share. We are here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. sharp on the East Coast. So make sure y'all stay tapped in. We are broadcasting live from YouTube, which we want you to subscribe. And we also want you to keep following and sharing us out on both platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Mar, you already know, man, simply chiming in saying they've been doing this. They've been doing hits for years. It just so happened the weaker artists got caught not saying it's right. No, it's not right. But I feel your point on that. You know what I'm saying? Every take on here is definitely appreciated and well thought out. Let's see here. We got to get the Mellow Man in here. We don't see you backstage, P. I don't know what's going on, man. You might have to come out and come back in again, because it definitely is not showing you right now, P. Oh, my man Dre, you already know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Old boy 100 tapping in this morning. E-Town stand up, PA stand tough. You already know what it is, man. That's a general out here in the world. You know what I'm saying? My man Dre definitely has done his thing. He is a resource. If anybody needs information, tap in with Dre Dunlap Sr. You know what I'm saying? Tap in with the brother. He definitely has a lot of knowledge, information. If you need to get your services together with the transportation, he has a great transportation service. So we're going to put these businesses on blast and show people the positivity of it all. You know what I'm saying? And I agree, simply, you know what I'm saying? They've been doing these hits for a long time. And we've seen too many of our peers pass through. You know what I'm saying? And not make it down the road to the level of success that we want them to make it to. You know what I'm saying? And it's really unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. But we're gonna keep pushing the agenda of coming to the light. We're gonna keep pushing the agenda of being positive and radiating positivity. You know what I'm saying? Yes, peace, brother. Peace, brother Dre. Melanie came in and chimed in. You know what I'm saying? Yes, cosign. Simply says, niggas been dropping bread on heads in the hood. It so happened they were kind of famous. For sure. Yep. And that's a dysfunction. That's another example of the dysfunction that we have. That money could have been spent better towards something positive for the community. You're dropping bread to get rid of people, but what kind of result does that bring? You know what I'm saying? We have to start thinking about that. And cats like Simply understand this because he understands what it means to go from the streets to being, successful with music. You got to leave that shit alone. You got to leave that shit alone. At some point in time, you got to find a way to tell yourself, yo, this part of my life has to eradicate itself. This part of my life has to exist. It must. It's a must that it exists. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, chat, for the great insight. You already know, P and LB gonna bring the flavor to you. We're gonna move forward in the timeline in the rundown here. This is one subject that I personally had to bring into the mix today. Just real quickly, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but and we don't necessarily have to have too much interaction because I want to get forward because we got some other things to unpack this morning. But this right here is communication. One of the things that I think as a people we need to start doing better is effectively communicating. And these are the 7 C's of communication. And we're going to bring it to you like this because sometimes it's not just about what's going on in the news. It's about certain things that we need to do to really structure ourselves up. The reason why our show works so well is because all 3 of us have interactive and regular communication, effective communication. As you can see in the post here, it says effective communication. Number 1, clear. Be clear about the goal and purpose of your message. One of the things that we do not do as a people is be clear with each other. We have to start being clear with our communication. Concise is number 2. Keep to the point and keep your message short and simple. Get to the point. All this dancing around. Sometimes I have meetings with people in the music business and they want to show me everything that they've done, this, that, and the third. No disrespect, but let's get to the point of the subject at hand and let's get to a clear objective on what we're trying to accomplish. Concrete is number 3. Be clear, which is going back to number 1. Be clear, not fuzzy. Provide detail, but not too much detail. Right. That's concrete. Number 4 is correct. Make sure your message is accurate and grammatically correct, because that's one thing. And I'm not here to bash or belittle anybody by being not grammatically correct, but it's very important that your message be accurate, more so than grammatically correct, in my opinion. We need to stay accurate with our information that we're trying to express to each other. I think that will break some barriers if we learn how to do that. Be correct. Number 5. Number 5 is coherent. That's a word that we all need to be aware of. Make sure your message flows well and is laid out logically. You know what I'm saying? Uh, in other words, we have to actually think about what we say before we go about saying it. You can have a conversation and talk with people about any subject, but if the subject is clear, concise, concrete, and correct and coherent, those things are going to create effective communication. Number 6, complete. Complete is another C. Ensure the recipient has everything they need to understand. So make sure you leave no details out that need to be in there. There's a lot of details to unpack in certain communication that we have, but make sure that we have complete understanding of what it is that we need to communicate and communicate it effectively. The last one, and last but not least, is courteous, because I just said it's not about what you say, it's how you go about saying it. It's not about what you do, it's how you going about doing it. Your message should be polite, friendly, professional, and open. And I had to bring that to the light, fellas, because we as a people have a poor level of communication overall. I'm not saying, it's in sales, it's good. In sales, it's good. Little small sales, but we need to start expanding it to a larger scale, and we all need to learn how to communicate more effectively. I tell people all the time, if we can get down the road more effectively, it's based off of the communication that we have with each other. If we stay in constant contact, LB needed the logo, We stay in contact about that. You know what I'm saying? LB needs to know what shops down here sell the best meats. We stay in contact with that. P said, look, the monster needs this, the monster needs that. We need to stay in contact with that. What kind of mic do I need? You know, just little simple things like that. But if we effectively are communicating these things, then my brother P got what he needs. Then my brother, LB got what he needs. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. They give me the information. Some of the stuff that we're seeing on the timeline is because these guys are communicating with me on a daily basis, not just a daily and effective basis. We're talking about these things. We're getting on the phone. We're chopping it up. We're getting understanding. You know what I'm saying? So communication is very important, fellas. LB.
Oh yeah, that's the key. Because there's a lot of times people will just text you. They don't want to talk to you. They figure that's the answer of communicating. But when you text things, they got two separate meanings. So you might not get the right intentions when you don't really communicate. So that's a major part of anything you do in life is communication.
P.
Man, it's so much. I'm glad you brought that in, bro, because it really ties in what we was just talking about the miscommunication. Like Yellow Beezy, Mo 3, they were friends. You know what I'm saying? What happened to Nip? It happened in his own neighborhood. We have a domino effect of violence in our own city that we were born and raised in.
Man.
It's people that I'm related to that, is kind of got me teary-eyed right now, just thinking about East Coast, West Coast in such a small town as Erie. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all is related. So let's practice those 7 C's and get out of that, man, because it's strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers, man. Agreed. Thank you guys for that. You know what I'm saying? Melanie Cosign, she said yes. Let's move forward, guys. Let's move forward. We got another subject to talk about this morning, and we're going to quickly get into this. Elle brought this up. Thanks, Elle, for this one. This one is somewhat of a sensitive subject, and we want to bring it transparently to you so you guys can understand a perspective that you may not. Misery checking in. What's going on, Misery? Checking in over there in Naptown. You already know what it is, man. Indiana is in the building. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy right there. Follow his movement. You know what I'm saying? He's got merch. He's got all kind of good things going on. Just tap in. He's got the Blunt Conversations podcast, which we hope to be a part of one day. So thank you for tapping in, Miz. You know what I'm saying? But this one says Black History Truth. You know what I'm saying? The man in the house rule and the breakdown of the Black family. Did you know the U.S. government once forced Black fathers out of their own homes just so families could receive financial assistance? During the 1960s and the 70s, welfare programs had a rule that denied benefits to women if the man was living in the house, even if he was the father of her children. This meant thousands of Black families had to make a heartbreaking choice: stay together and struggle financially, or separate so the mother and children could receive aid. And it's just really it's still seen today. Let's have a look and listen.
Did you know the U.S. government once penalized Black families for having fathers in the home, and the effects are still felt today? During the 1960s and 70s, public assistance programs such as welfare and housing aid included what was called the man in the house rule. Under this rule, a woman could not receive government assistance if a man, even the father of her children, was living in a home. This forced thousands of Black families into a heartbreaking choice: stay together and struggle financially, or separate so the mother and the children could receive benefits. For many Black fathers, this meant 1, being forced out of their own homes, 2, struggling with unemployment due to discrimination, and 3, watching their families suffer economically despite their best efforts. Even though the rule was eventually struck down, the damage was already done. It contributed to generational poverty. Instead of building Black wealth, Black families had to survive on unstable government aids. It contributed to fatherless households. This policy incentivized single-parent homes, leading to a rise in a father absence. And then 3, mass incarceration. As economic opportunities shrank for Black men, many were funneled into the prison system. How does it still affect us today? Well, black families still face economic disadvantages due to lost generational wealth. The stereotype of the absent black father was largely created by policies like this, not by choice. In reality, black fathers are among the most involved parents when present. Government policies still track wealth and family structures, making it critical to understand history and advocate for our economic empowerment. Well, what's the solution? We got to build our own economic power. We got to practice collective economics, invest in circulating our dollars with the community. We got to have more financial literacy, teaching wealth strategies and dependency, and we need to have real estate ownership to secure land and assets for our future generations. We must reclaim our financial independence and rewrite our family legacy. The past does not define us, but understanding it helps us shape a better future. Now stay woke, wealthy, outstanding, knowledgeable, and empowered, and let's continue to build. Now drop a black fist in the comments and share with others who need to know this Black history fact.
Okay, man. Wow. Boy, wasn't that timely to say. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of people are confused as to why our economic structure is the way that it is now. And when you see a report like that, like I said, we uncover things on a level that you may not be aware of. So we're going to bring it to the light here on the AM show. You know what I'm saying? That is just a real statistic. I think generational wealth was affected tremendously by these tactics. And even if they had eradicated it, it's still not eradicated, because to this day, you know, we are at odds, and it created a stigma and a mentality that we have to be separated in order for us to live our best lives. And that's where the generational gap of wealth started kicking in. LB.
It was designed that way. You got to think about it. That's the way they had it planned. They wanted us to be divided from the door, so that way they can help the women and children, but they made sure that we was nowhere around to help build and teach our kids. So I always felt that way from the beginning anyway, that it was like that, but it's still going on still, because it's still laws and stuff that still prevent men from being with their families to a certain.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, but this other statistic that I've uncovered: the average black man, ladies, in this country only earns about $50,000 a year. I mean, I see a lot of podcasts and things of that nature where they talk about, oh, he's got to earn six figures. Well, ma'am, I just got to be clear with you that there's a majority of us that do not earn six figures in this country. The top 15% are at above 60,000, just above 60,000. My son is in that bracket. You know what I'm saying? So I know that the earning power that you guys seek, you think that there's a lot of people earning six figures because of what you see. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily about what you know statistically in this country. But Mellow Man.
Peace. And just to add on to what you're saying about earning power, the city that we're from, you know, we saw figures of how low the earnings are there. And it's not to, you know, look down on anybody that's there.
No,
That's
not at all.
making money. But the reason it is so low, because it's so many seniors in Erie.
Right.
So they're on, you know, assistance. But going back to the actual the system actually taking men out of households. I experienced this. My youngest daughter was born out in the FTP. You know what I'm saying? 95. So the late 90s, and FTP, you know, just for the world to know, that's the Franklin Terrace
Project. Yeah, yep.
yeah, the Franklin Terrace projects. So the mid 90s going into 2000, they were changing the rules, and they were saying like, hey, if you got any type of criminal background, you can't stay with your kid's mom and all type of things like that. But I just want to go back to one of my favorite movies from 1974, Claudine. And it showed, you know, if you haven't seen Claudine, go and check it out. It's Diane Carroll and what's my man name? He just passed away. James Earl Jones. So she was a maid in Uptown New York, he was a garbage man. She had 6 kids, and they fell in love, and the government got all in a relationship, and they had to hide this and hide that. I mean, it's a classic movie. Check it out, Claudine.
Wow, man, powerful, man. Thank you guys for that reaction. I see we only got a few minutes left. Larry, we're gonna get into Wednesday. We're gonna get into the most racist president has ever been on an anti-black ever has been on an anti-black mission for a while now. So you guys stay tuned on Wednesday. We're gonna unpack that story. That's gonna be at the top of our line. But we're almost out of here, so we gotta give you guys some humor to get your day started. And I found one clip in particular that we're going to run. And John, like I said, we're going to run your clip Wednesday that you just picked up, you know what I'm saying, from Sugar Daddy Jones. You know what I'm saying?
That's DJ and shit.
Yeah, man. This guy is something else. We're gonna run that. But today's funny for the day, guys, is you get to a certain age, you forget the workout regimen and routine. But this is like the first day back in the gym. If you think that pig iron, for those who know, going to the gym, pig iron is not nothing to play with. And here's the reason why you should recognize and realize that you ain't what you used to be.
I ain't as good as I once was, but I was good as I was. Man, you know I can't.
5 times, and they got to be full.
Oh, shit. Hell no, get this shit. I ain't as good as I once was, but I was good as I was. Man, you know I can't.
5 times, and they got to be full.
Oh, shit. Hell no, get this shit.
Yeah, man. Mess around on the bars outside like you used to when you was a young man is not recommended, especially if you haven't lifted that kind of weight in a long time. Or you gonna be like my man, like, ooh. Yo, ain't that the funniest thing? Is like when you get older, that little noise come out your mouth here and there when you least think about it. You try to stand up, ooh, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Just back hurting. You try to get out of there. You be like, ooh, ooh. I know I do it all the time because that sciatica nerve every now and again will hit you, or your knees get a little weak and shit. You be trying to stand up like ooh, ooh.
Yeah, knees get weak.
Yes, and Buddy's arms definitely was not ready for it because that looked like that ain't a lot of weight, people. But I can guarantee you, it's outside. If you know anything about outside gyms and that old rusty pig iron, you know good and damn well. It looks like the weights had him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it looks like the weights had him completely. You know what I'm saying? Like this brother just didn't know.
I ain't as good as I once was.
At least he said that. At least he said that he wasn't as good. Where he made the mistake.
And they got to be full.
Oh shit. Hell no.
Hey yo, you will end up just like this. Trying to flex. Gotta be full. Gotta be full. We're getting a lot of laughs in the chat here. Thank you, chat, for tapping in with the AM show. You know what I'm saying? Once again, man, y'all the real MVPs. Make sure you guys are sharing, liking, and subscribing the show. We are here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. free of charge for y'all. You know what I'm saying? All we ask you to do is something very simple. Share the show, like, Make sure you subscribing to us on YouTube. We are going to have our own YouTube channel here real soon. So you guys stay connected. But the AM show is JPad the Juggernaut, my man LB, you know what I'm saying, and Mello Man PDC, broadcasting live from Houston, Texas. So you guys have a great Monday. We just hit our hour mark and we are out of here. Y'all be blessed. We'll be back Wednesday with some more information because knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? So for Mellow Man, LB is JPad the Juggernaut. We out of here. We'll see y'all